Margaret Lagunas is suing her former best friend, April Wilson, for the unpaid balance on a Ford Expedition. April claims Margaret did not live up to her part of the agreement, so she's not paying.
Order. All rise.
Yes, case number 374 on the calendar in the matter of Lagunas versus Wilson. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Lagunas, you sold a car to the defendant.
Yes, April Wilson.
And it is your claim that you failed to make all of the payments on the car?
Yes.
I didn't ask you a question.
Okay.
Miss Wilson, is the car in your name?
No.
In whose name is the car?
Maggie's.
Miss Lagunas?
Yes.
Where is the car located?
I have it parked at a friend's house.
Where is my question?
In Hammond,
Give me the address.
Michigan Avenue.
And what's the friend's name?
Amy.
Amy what?
Zacharias.
How long has the car been there?
Since September.
What is it doing there since September?
Hiding it.
I'm not speaking to you.
I'm hiding it.
You're not hiding it anymore. What's
Right.
Miss Zacharias' phone number?
8122.
Have you driven the car since September?
No.
Is it in her garage?
Yes.
How much do you still owe the plaintiff on the car?
About 5,000.
Good. Is this Amy? Amy Zacharias, this is Judge Judy Scheindlin. How are you? Miss Zacharias, I have Miss Wilson here who tells me that you have a car parked in your garage that belongs to her. Is that correct? And how long has the car been parked there? Well, I want you to get as sure as you can because I'm sending a marshal over to pick up that car. Do you understand? Very good. The car does not belong to Miss Wilson. It belongs to someone else. And the marshal or the sheriff is going to come over and pick it up. I am advising you that if you move the car, I will advise the sheriff in your county that you have stolen property in your garage. Do you understand? Very good. Thank you very much. That's all.
Wow.
Yeah. You're going to go, listen to me very carefully. You're going to go outside and call the police department in your county. I've spoken to Miss Zacharias. The car is, in fact, in her garage. I have told her that the sheriff will be coming over to pick up the car. Then you're going to get your car back. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Now we're going to talk about the money that you've put into the car and how long you've had it. Do you understand?
Yes.
You can't keep property that you haven't paid for. Do I make myself clear?
I understand that. But
Perfect.
the agreement wasn't made like that.
I don't care what the agreement was. You just told me that you owe $5,000
I
on
do,
the
but there
car.
was also an agreement that stuff was going to get fixed. The title was to be
And we
put
did.
in my name.
Shut up. I don't want to hear. Don't interrupt her.
The title was to be put in my name with a lien on it. I could not do anything with this car. They consistently took the car from my house, followed me,
I don't want...
stalked
Listen
me.
to me. You interrupt her again, I'm throwing you out. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, if you complain and if you don't want this deal, then you return the car, but you don't get to keep the car
I
without
want
paying
the car.
for it.
I want the car.
That's too bad. At
We
this
had
point.
an agreement.
That's
and
too...
I put
Listen to me.
$4,000
Listen to me.
into it.
Listen to me. I'm going to get to the $4,000 you put into it, but you can't keep it for nothing. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. So she's going to get the car, and now I'm going to figure out how much of your $4,000 you're going to get back. Do you understand, Miss Lagunas?
Yes.
It's your car. The title is in your name.
And that's right.
I have just told Miss Zacharias she is to release the car to the sheriff. She understands that she's going to be in serious trouble if she doesn't do that.
Okay.
The car is yours. It hasn't been paid for. You are repossessing that car.
Yes.
Period. End of discussion. You got it?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, how many months did you have this car?
Since April. Maybe the end of March, April.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October, October and a half. 7.5 months.
Yes.
And you have put how much into the car? $4,000
Yes.
in payments?
And not on top of everything I had to fix, which they did not do.
Listen to me. Do you have a contract in writing that indicates what they're supposed to fix?
It was all verbal.
Fine. So you've put in $4,000 in payments for the car?
Yes.
She was supposed to give me a down payment of $3,000, pay $200 every 2 weeks.
I don't care.
Okay,
You're getting your car back.
that's right.
But she's getting something. I mean, she used this car for 7 months. She's not going to use it for 7 months without paying for it. If you rented a car for 7 months for $300 a month is $2,100. So you deduct, let's say she paid $4,000 into the car.
But she didn't pay $4,000. It was $3,850.
Fine. You have proof that you paid her $4,000?
No, it was a rough estimate.
Oh, well, rough estimate. She said $3,850?
That's correct.
Minus $2,100 equals 0, 5, 7, $1,750. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Perfect.
So I'm out of a car now?
Yes,
Out of
car
the
you
money?
didn't pay for.
Well, why did I pay $4,000 now to lose
Just
a
a
car?
second. You didn't pay $4,000
Well,
for a car.
$3,850.
What you paid for was the equivalent of a car rental for $300 of a very nice
I
Ford
paid for a
Expedition.
car.
You didn't pay for it.
I have my
Make
witness-
believe it's a bank. When was the last time you made a payment?
August.
That's too bad. You're out of
But
luck.
they didn't go
The
with
car
their
is
agreement.
The car is
They
just
didn't go with their agreement.
repossessed. Listen to me. The car is now repossessed. They are going to take the car because you can't drive around
I
with somebody's
paid up
property.
to
yourself.
August.
To June.
Just a second. Look at me.
We had an agreement, and this is my truck that I would have paid for if they would have went with their agreement. I paid up
You
until
was not
August.
paying your payments.
They didn't
Miss
put the
Lagunas,
title in my
Miss
name.
Lagunas, listen to me.
Yes.
She secreted the car,
I understand.
and she did not pay for it for 3 months. You are repossessing the car. She doesn't like it. It's tough. She didn't make the payments. She hid the car so that you couldn't repossess it.
They were following me, putting my kids in danger, harassing
No, Your
my
Honor, I have the
job.
911
Miss
tape.
Lagunas, I don't want to hear you unless I ask you a question. Do
Okay.
you understand?
Yes.
Otherwise, you're out of here without your truck, period. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you again. Maybe if you dressed and covered your shoulders when you came to court, you would understand what court decorum is. Otherwise, be quiet unless I speak to you.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm treating it as if you rented her car. A bank would not do that for you.
bank?
Listen to me.
What?
Just be quiet.
And later today,
You have no relation to this case whatsoever. Zero. You have nothing to do with this case. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Perfect.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Margaret Lagunas claims former friend April Wilson owes for an SUV that she is currently hiding from her. April is countersuing for harassment, claiming Margaret endangered the lives of her and her children.
Now, go buy yourself a new car. You're getting $1,000. You're getting $1,000.
$38.50 into it,
Listen.
plus the stuff I fixed.
Miss Wilson, I'm not going to bother with you anymore. You used her property, and you're getting back $1,750. I'm treating it as if you rented her car. A bank would not do that for you. Do you understand that?
A bank-
Listen to me. A bank would not do that for you.
But-
I'm treating...
Sorry.
Just be quiet. You didn't pay for it. It's being repossessed. You're getting back $1,750. Use it as a down payment for another car. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I put all this money into the car to now not have a car.
This is just the kind of person she is. She's done it to many other people.
And I get $1,750. Who's going to buy a car for $1,750?
It's been a game since we gave it to her.
Zanita Arnold and her husband, Lawrence Hill, are suing Zanita's ex-husband, Bruce Arnold, for filing false charges of abuse with Child Protective Services.
All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 105 on the calendar in the matter of Arnold Hill versus Arnold. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Arnold, this is your former husband,
Yes,
and this is your
new husband.
new husband. And according to your complaint, your former husband made allegations about you and your husband with regard to your treatment of your two children. You have two children with him?
Yes,
As a result of that, the two of you were briefly arrested and lost custody of the children for a very brief period of time. The children are back with you now.
yes.
Mr. Arnold said he has every right to have been concerned about his children. He acknowledges he made the report that resulted in your arrest, and he is going to explain to me why. Now, when were you divorced, Miss Arnold?
August 16, 2004.
And how many children do you have, Mr. Arnold?
2, a boy.
Only 2 children?
Yes, by her.
What are their dates of birth?
March 19th for my son, 99, and my daughter, September 4th, 1995.
And did you and your former wife live together until 2004?
No.
When did you separate?
2002 or probably 1.
When did you separate?
2000.
Your former wife has had physical custody of the children since 2000. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Since one of the children was a year old, right? And one of the children was 5 years old.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Explain it to me.
My son was at least about 3 years old when we was living together.
Is that right?
Bruce has been on and on in the household. So it was basically 1 month he'll be in the household, the next month he will not.
That's a lot.
With duration of that, his appearance was basically an in-and-out father. I assumed full custody of my kids, sole custody, when I got the divorce, August 16, 2004.
Okay, now I got it. Now, sir, you made a report to Child Protective Services or to the police?
To the police.
When?
December 2006, I believe it was around the 15th or 16th.
Prior to December 2016, that's the date of your divorce, have you been regularly paying child support?
Yes, off and on.
Yes, off and on is not regularly paying child support. Since August 16th, have you been regularly paying child support?
I pay child support twice. I pay from the public aid and for our divorce.
I'm asking you, since August 16th, 2004, when the divorce granted you primary physical custody, have you been regularly paying support?
Yes.
Well, you said yes, and then 2 seconds ago you said yes off and on. Which one is it?
Because when I wasn't working, I was still giving her $50 a week, and they weren't taking out my check.
Is that right?
No. Basically, since all of this happened December 16th, I'll say a minimum of about 2 payments that he has given me. This current year, up to date, I would say at the most, maybe a month worth of payments. And that's $50 every other month, if that.
Okay. Now, sir, you reported an incident to the police in December of 2006. You want to tell me what precipitated that report?
Yes, my children was home with my mother, their grandmother. And my daughter and her was talking. And my daughter came out and told her everything that was going on about the past and the present. And so my mother got on the phone, called me crying. She was saying that my kids are being abused.
Don't tell me what your mother said to you. I assume that there was a time that you came home and spoke to your children.
I was getting to that point, man.
I know, but you can't tell me what your mother said to you, sir, because that's hearsay.
I understand.
You can, however, tell me what your children... Listen to me. You're not paying attention, Mr. Arnold. You cannot tell me what your mother said to you. There is an exception with regard to what children say to their parents in family court proceedings, so I'm accepting what the children said to you. And I assume that as a result of the conversation with your mother, you had a conversation with your children.
Yes, ma'am.
When?
As soon as I got off the phone with her, I came home and I talked to my children. And that's when they informed me about the things that was going on.
Well, I would like you to tell me specifically what they informed you and which child informed you of what.
My daughter informed me that one occasion that Zanita had sat on top of her back while Lawrence whooped her. Then my son told me...
Okay, now, that's what your daughter said to you.
Yes, ma'am.
That her stepfather had hit her with what?
A belt.
Did she tell you when?
It was like a month prior to that date.
Are you making this up as you're going? Are you sure that she said to you it was a month before?
Yes, I am, ma'am.
Okay. And is that all your daughter told you?
No.
What else did she tell you?
She told me that she got a whooping because she didn't like what her mother had picked out for her for school, and she got in trouble for that.
Is that at the same occasion that you're talking to me about?
No, ma'am.
That was on a different occasion?
Yes.
And when did she say that happened?
Well, she didn't really say when that one happened. And then my son told me that he gets whoopings for no reason. I was like, they're not just whooping you for no reason. So he told me about when they used to stay in Texas, that he showed me a burnt mark that he said Lawrence had burnt him with an iron. I said, did he do it on purpose or on accident? He said, no, Daddy, he did it on purpose.
When were you living in Texas? What year?
2003, 2004.
So that's 2003, 2004. So that your son was either 4 or 5 years old when you were in Texas. Okay. And what else did your son tell you?
He told me, well, actually, she told me one time that he had whooped him and hit him in his private part, and it swelled up so bad that she claimed they took him to the hospital.
And your former wife told you that?
Yeah, he's a witness to that.
Okay. So as a result of that, those are the reasons that you called the police?
It was all building up, the stuff that they tell me that I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
Yes,
that's the reason why you called the police. Mr. Hill, I have a couple of questions for you, sir. And I would prefer answers from you so that I don't necessarily have to interview the children, who I understand are here, because I assume that they've already been examined and spoken to. So I would prefer that I get the legitimate answers from you. Mr. Hill, have you ever hit either of your stepchildren?
I have disciplined them with a belt in previous instances, yes.
How often?
Very infrequently.
More than 5 times since you've been their stepfather, or less than 5 times?
Less than 5 times.
More than twice or less than twice?
More than twice, less than 5.
And have you done that with the approval of Miss Arnold?
Yes.
Has Miss Arnold ever disciplined the children with a belt?
Yeah.
These are hard questions.
That's right. I'm sorry, man.
You got a lot of nerves.
Miss Arnold, don't speak to him.
I'm sorry.
Don't speak to him. How often have you witnessed Miss Arnold disciplining her children with a belt?
I would say over the past 4 years, less than 5, more than twice.
Both the boy and the girl?
Yes. My daughter really doesn't get whoopings at all. We don't have
You
that
mean your
many.
stepdaughter?
Yes.
How old was your stepson when you started to discipline him with a belt?
He was 4, almost 5 years old.
And do you remember the reason that you disciplined him with a belt?
No, not offhand. It was so long ago.
Well, try to tell me what infractions were that you remember that caused either the boy or the girl to be disciplined with a belt.
From what I remember is for lying.
Who was lying?
My son was lying.
What did he say?
I believe it had something to do with school. We hold school very important, so...
Do you remember, Miss Arnold?
Actually, this particular incident when he's talking about, it was dealing with school. We had a conversation with Michael regarding his grades and also just the upkeep of his schoolwork. We talked with him on numerous occasions about it. Our whoopings or our discipline methods are not what Bruce tends them out to be. When we do, at that point, when he did whoop him, it's more or less, we'll tell him hold out his hand and whoop him 1 or 2 times at that point.
That's not true.
Okay.
Are you in the household?
Shh. Hey! Listen to me. Your lawsuit alleges that Mr. Arnold had no right to notify the police or Child Protective Services about what he perceived to be abuse and or neglect of his children. Mm-hmm. You believe that. And I'm telling you that he had every right to notify Child Protective Services. And if notify the police who reported you to Child Protective Services in order to ascertain whether or not you were using excessive corporal punishment, he had not only the right, but he had the obligation to do that. You two look like very nice people. There is a difference between corporal punishment and excessive corporal punishment. I acknowledge that. That's a term of law, because the law in this country doesn't say, although perhaps it should, that you cannot corporally punish your children by using a belt or a hanger or anything else. The law says that you cannot excessively punish your children. But as a parent, if my children came to me and said that their step-parent was whipping them with a belt, a 4-year-old,
Ma'am, it wasn't
I'm
a belt.
speaking.
It was an iron.
It was an iron.
He's stating,
That's what he stated.
Listen to
That's
me.
why we got arrested.
Listen to
because
me.
He said that we whooped
We
him
have
with a
the-
metal iron
the
and we
actual
burnt the
statements.
child.
Never said
That
that.
was a lie.
No,
We
no,
have a
listen-
statement.
Listen to me
prove
very,
that.
listen to me. Hey,
Come on.
you're not paying attention to what I'm saying to you.
Yes, we are, yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not the allegation. The allegation is a
problem.
metal
Listen to me.
iron.
Listen to me. If your children were telling their father that they felt as if they were being disciplined harshly by you and their stepfather, and it is apparent to me that you do discipline them harshly. Now, whether in the jurisdiction that you live that's permissible or not, that's not up to me to say. I assume that the court's permitted you to have your
Can
children
you
back.
ask Mr. Arnold, has he whooped his children either?
Listen to
Over
me.
the past
That's
And you
number
know
of
you
years?
have whooped those
Shut up.
kids.
Why
You don't
should
need
you
to be.
advise
Why?
me?
Why?
One,
Because you whooped him.
Still ain't got yours for
One.
you to my son.
Hey, sir.
I ain't did
Sir,
nothing to your son.
I would like for you to talk to the kids.
Just a second.
Because that's
Talk-
what
talk
it's, that's
to
what
the
it's
judge.
about.
Talk
He
to the
made
judge.
those kids lie.
Talk to the judge.
No, just a second.
I take care of
Yeah.
Hey!
Sir.
If you say
are
one
you
more
listening?
word, leave
Talk
it
to the
down there.
judge.
If you say one more word, I'm not even going to continue with the case. Do you understand, Miss Arnold?
Yes.
You have a temper problem. And my sense is if you have a temper problem here with me in a court situation where I am in authority and in control of my space, my sense is that if you have a temper problem, you can lose it with a 5-year-old. Do you get it? Now, try to keep your mouth shut. Do you understand until I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you get it? Stop it.
Hey.
Do you get it?
Yes.
Now, I said to you, I'm going to ask you questions so that I won't have to interview the children if I don't have to, because the children have already been interviewed, I guarantee, by many professionals with the Child Protective Services and the police department. Put your hand down. I didn't have to interview the children because you told me, the two of you told me, that you whip your children with belts. Now,
We no longer do that because we have actually had intervention prior before him making allegations.
Listen to me.
Yes,
listen to me. Whether or not you've had intervention,
We had counseling.
You had counseling.
And it was proven
It was proven that these charges
they were
came after
allegations.
the
I
fact.
dropped the charges.
Just
You
a
should be in
second.
jail.
Hey,
No.
I'm saying
You
the
should be
same
in
thing
jail for
to
not
you
paying
as I
child
said to
support. I
them.
raised your kids.
How come she get money from me every other week?
Your case is
Every other week,
dismissed.
don't pay for it.
Goodbye.
Wait here. Wait here.
Because he doesn't want me with my current husband. That's what it's about.
My wife, she still wants to get back with me.
Asking me to just be back with him and leave my current husband.
I'm not having it. I told her, maybe it's a future for us if you get a divorce.
Well, as far as it is, we're going to continue on living our life, being happy, and move forward.
But she was trying to get her cake and eat it too. It's not going to happen like this.
All parties in the matter of Gabori versus Davenport. Step forward, please.
25-year-old Jesse Gabori is suing 23-year-old musician Cameron Davenport for the return of his fee to perform at her party. Jesse claims Cameron's music offended her guests.
Mr. Borey, you hired Mr. Davenport as a DJ to play at a party that you were having. What kind of party was it?
I had a cousin who was moving to Portland, Oregon from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We have a pretty large family in Coeur d'Alene, all very close-knit.
So it was a family party?
Yes, that's correct.
Had you ever heard of Mr. Davenport play before?
No, ma'am.
How did you find him?
I was at a coffee shop. I found a flyer that said, Cameron Bamron, original music and DJ services. It showed a picture of a guy with a ukulele on the front.
Okay, so that's how you found him.
That's correct.
Good. And you hired him to play at a party. You paid him in advance, $500?
Yes, ma'am.
And he came to the party. He played for a couple of minutes. He was told to leave.
That's correct.
Because you didn't like his music, and you want your money back.
That's correct.
Mr. Davenport says he came, he played his music, he was totally prepared to comply with the terms of your contract. You told him to leave, he's not giving you any money back. What date did you see his flyer, and on what date did you call him?
July 10th is the date that I was preparing all of the arrangements for the party.
What day was the party?
The 13th of July.
So you only had 3 days to get somebody?
That's correct.
So you called Mr. Davenport from the flyer. And what did you say to him, and what did he say to you?
I asked if he would be available to do a 5-hour set on the 13th. The party started around 7 p.m. He said that he was available. I asked what type of original music he played. He said experimental. In my experience, experimental doesn't generally mean offensive or explicit.
Don't tell me what your experience is, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm asking you what you said to him and what he said to you.
He asked me if any children would be present, and I said no, older people, adults.
Okay.
And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. I told him where to show up and when. I was in a huge hurry, so I just kind of pushed forward with it.
So he came, and?
On the day of the party, he arrived, had his sound equipment set up. Everything seemed to be going well. That was the first time I had actually spoken with him in person. He seemed like a, nice guy. Got up on stage, and it was the first song that he sang that really set everyone off. I have a pretty conservative family. It was a large party. I had a lot of grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles,
So it was more experimental than you were used to?
The first lyric of the first song was
Just
what
a
really
sec.
set it off.
Okay. It was not what you expected?
That's correct.
Okay, so what did you do?
I immediately, after about halfway through the first song, I was bombarded with my family members coming up angrily. My friends, family, asking me if it was a joke.
Okay, fine. So?
I retreated to the back of the theater. I informed one of my cousins that he needed to ask Cameron to leave.
Oh, well, and that's what they did. They asked him to leave.
That's
right.
Correct.
So why do you think you're entitled to any money back?
Because he misrepresented himself
No,
on the
he didn't
telephone
at all.
to me.
No, he did not at all.
Never at any time did he mention that his lyrics were explicit or offensive in any manner.
Did you ask? You said, what kind of music do you play? According to you, I listened very carefully, you say original music experimental. according to you, you said, in my opinion, experimental meant, I said, I'm not interested in your opinion. What you do when you hire somebody is you enter into a contract. And especially if the end of one song and you tell somebody to go tell him to leave, instead of saying to him, listen, this is not the kind of music that we want played here. Could you please play something else? And give him the option, just a second, give him the option of saying to you, this is the only kind of music I have. This is the only kind of music I do. But according to you, I listened very carefully. You said you told one of your cousins to go out and tell him to leave, which he did. You go get your money back.
Well, he successfully, in under 5 minutes, offended pretty much everyone at the party.
You should have planned better. Should have planned better. You know, what is offensive to some people is not offensive to others. I think that he was very honest with you when you called him, and he said, are there going to be any children at the party? I would say, there aren't going to be children, but there are a lot of older people who have the ears of a child, and if there's going to be any music there that's going to be offensive, we don't want that kind of music.
A few curse words every now and again is a little less offensive than the lyrics that this man used in front of these people.
That is your problem. He did not breach your contract. He showed up. He played his experimental music, which is what he told you he was going to play, and he couldn't book another gig after you fired him. So you have to be more careful.
Your Honor?
What?
I do have a copy of my lyrics to just one of my songs that I do.
I don't do experimental lyrics.
All right.
If it's not Sinatra or Feinstein, I don't do it. Got it?
Okay.
But I think that you were very honest with her. You said, I do original experimental music, and are there going to be any children there? Did you get paid, sir?
Yes.
You worked for 20 minutes?
Well, I played for about 20 minutes. You know, it takes a good half hour to set up and break everything down.
So by the hour, you made more than you ever made before. Is that right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's right. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I am a little upset. I think I learned a valuable lesson today.
I'm Cameron Bamron. I won.
Won't be hiring too many ukulele players again.
I always win. If I don't, if I lose, I will write a song.
I made some assumptions based on the information that I was provided by the flyer.
I plan on writing a song about this.
I left after 5 minutes just because I was so offended. Could not believe what was going on.
I will let her know exactly what I think about all this in my song.
I had some grandmothers crying.
Everyone was offended.
I think it's only offensive to the weak-minded.
It is. It's definitely for a different mindset and people that are open-minded.
I was kind of off at her for about a week because I thought she knew what was going on.
I got a song about burritos and tacos.
Could not believe it. Could not believe it.
All the stupid people out there probably won't look into my music.
It was a little more than I could handle, so I retreated to a little safe spot until I was sure he was gone.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ross versus Ross, step forward.
Shauna Ross is suing her cousin, 21-year-old Pauline Ross, for the value of a state-issued check. Shauna claims Pauline kept money that was intended for her.
Miss Ross, the defendant is your cousin. According to what I've read in your complaint, she had had some trouble with Child Protective Services. And there came a time that you agreed to watch her children in exchange for a state check for watching her children.
Yes.
You watched the children. She got the state checks, 2 of them, according to you.
Yes.
She cashed them both and did not give you any money. Miss Ross says that you only watched the children a little bit. Her boyfriend watched them more than you did. So she kept the money, and she's got some countersuit about you calling Child Protective Services and making some false allegations about her after all this went down. What's your first name?
Pauline.
Pauline, how many children do you have?
3.
You're expecting another one?
Yes.
How old are you?
21.
You have enough children, Pauline?
Yes.
Did anybody ever tell you that?
Yes.
Who else told you that?
Everybody.
So add my voice to the rest of the pack. You have enough children, there are other things to do in your spare time. How old are your children?
They're 1.
You have to think about this?
No, 1, 2, and 3.
And who's the father of your 1-year-old?
Dion.
And who's the father of your 2-year-old?
I don't know.
And who's the father of your 3-year-old?
Dion.
And who's the father of this one that you're going to have now?
His name is Nick.
And how long have you been with Nick?
9 months.
Shh. Judge Judy continues in a moment.
you people don't think that I understand that this is just another scam on the state, you're wrong. I got it. You know what I'm doing with this case? I'm sending a tape of it to the state of Michigan so they can come after you and take the money out of your welfare money.
Closed captioning sponsored by...
Fasten your seatbelts. Monster Jam comes crashing into Halifax June 6th and 7th, and you can win the ultimate Monster Jam fan pack to share with 3 friends. Send your entry to win at globaltv.com for your chance to score big with Monster Jam. Brought to you by Global Maritimes and Live Nation.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shauna Ross says her cousin, Pauline Ross, kept a state-issued check that was intended for her. Pauline is countersuing, claiming Shauna made false allegations to Child Protective Services.
Now, when your cousin was watching your children, who was your boyfriend then? Dion or Nick?
Nick.
When did your cousin watch your children?
She started April the 2nd when I started my job.
What kind of job did you have?
Waitressing.
Now, who filed the papers for your cousin to get this state check?
We both did.
And when you filed the papers, you said you were working, correct?
Right.
And you were receiving welfare.
Yes.
So they said, well, maybe they can cut some of this welfare money by giving you money to pay a babysitter to get you back in the job force, which
Yes.
will hopefully keep you out of the baby-producing business. How much did you receive in checks? Because the checks came to you, right?
Right.
How much was the first check?
The first one was $768.
And what did you do with that check?
I moved into my house.
So you used the money for yourself?
Right.
And how much was the second check?
$384.
And that was a babysitting check?
Yes, it was.
Well, Miss Ross, you don't get paid for babysitting for your own children.
No.
And Nick doesn't get paid for babysitting for your children because he hadn't filled out the papers.
Right.
So who do you think was entitled to that money?
Her, but not her, because she wasn't watching the kids like she was supposed to. And then April 12th, I got laid off. They cut my hours due to complications of my pregnancy.
Yeah. So
But
how
she was
many
still
hours
in-
did you in fact work?
20 hours per week.
How many
After the
weeks
12th.
did you work?
3 weeks.
3
No,
weeks?
3 weeks full time, and then they took me off.
So were you telling me, what state do you come from?
Michigan.
The state of Michigan gave you $1,152 for 3 weeks worth of babysitting?
No, no. You're
Well,
not
you got the
understanding.
2 checks just for babysitting.
Right, ma'am, she was calling in hours that she
Could
wasn't
I-
watching the kids.
Just a second. I understand that, but you have to sign off on it.
I
Look,
called
Miss
my-
Ross, Pauline,
Yes.
you have to sign off on it. This is yet just another scam. If you don't think that I understand that this was just another scam,
I have
do.
the paper saying that I called and said my hours were reduced. It's right here from the caseworker.
Somebody had to sign off before you got the check because the forms, she fills out the hours, but you have to sign off on it that she did in fact work those hours. Isn't that the way it works in Michigan?
Yes.
Of course. Works that way all over. Right? Otherwise, any babysitter could file and say, I worked 20 hours this week, unless the other person for whom she is allegedly working signs off on it. So if you people don't think that I understand that this is just another scam on the state, you're wrong. I got it. You worked 3 weeks and got checks for $1,152. You know what I'm doing with this case? I'm sending a tape of it to the state of Michigan so they can come after you and take the money out of your welfare money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
This was a good scam that the two of you cousins cooked up together.
No.
Because there is no way that I believe.
I didn't say I got paid for 3 weeks. I was working full time for 3 weeks. I called the caseworker. Here's the paper, the document showing when I called to say that my hours were reduced to 20 hours per week. So therefore, she supposed to have cut down the maximum hours which she supposed to call in.
Miss Ross, you are not entitled to keep that check.
I know that.
Just a second. So why did you keep it?
Because she wasn't babysitting the whole time.
You don't get it. Why don't you just send the money back to them? You don't move into your apartment with it, madam. You don't take care of your...
अस्सलामुअलैकुम व्यूअर्स, क्या हाल है, कैसे आप लोग? ठीक है। आज की वीडियो में हम बताएंगे आपको कि एंड्रॉयड मोबाइल से ऑनलाइन पैसे कैसे कमाए जाते हैं। ताकि आप लोगों को अवेयरनेस हो। ये मोबाइल से थ्रू एंड्रॉयड सेटअप के पैसे भी कमाए जा सकते हैं और ऑनलाइन तरीके से सारी चीज़ें भी बताई जाती हैं। वीडियो के आखिर में बताऊंगा, सही है। लिहाजा तो आप लोग वीडियो के साथ बने रहिए, सही है। और लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करते रहे मेरे चैनल। ऐसे ही खड़े रहो, बहुत तंग किया हुआ है तुमने भी, बस हिलना नहीं बिल्कुल भी। बहुत बदतमीजी हो गई है, जब देखो मोबाइल 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 मोबाइल। ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, हर वक्त मोबाइल चाहिए, हिलना नहीं बिल्कुल, बस बस। कोई कोई नहीं हिलेगा, बस कुछ भी हो जाए। आंखें भी नहीं झपको।